What's up, interwebs? I'm that toy guy, and today I'm going to be doing another one of those Kibble fixes. Yeah, you remember that one video I made a long time ago? Well, I'm going to show you how to take the kibble off of this guy because a lot of people don't like it, just like me. I don't like all the airplane junk that's just hanging off this dude. It just doesn't look very pleasant, especially this massive fusion cannon. So, the tools you will be needing for this are a screwdriver, a Phillips head screwdriver, a small one, not too small, but around this height. I don't know the exact size. So here it is next to Megatron if you have a screwdriver this size. You'll need a punch or something to use as a punch. Now a punch is this right here is an automatic. Let's move him out of the way. This right here is an automatic center punch. It has an automatic hammer on the inside that when you push this in, it'll punch right back out. If you don't have one of these, this was $7 off Amazon. $7 Canadian off Amazon, so it's pretty cheap. But if you don't have one of these, you can always use a manual punch. This is a manual punch right here. You just whack it with like a hammer or something off this side. This was $3 at Home Depot. $3 Canadian, so yeah. If you don't have one of those, then you can either use this screwdriver you had before or one of these really tiny screwdrivers. This is one of the ones from those old Tech Deck skateboards. Who remembers those? But no, I got a box full of all of these little screwdrivers, and they're very handy for popping out pins and things, and for fixing glasses and stuff like that. But yeah, any glasses screwdriver will do. Anything really this small you can use as a substitute for this. If you don't have one of those, if you don't have one of these, you can use a very small Allen key as well. I won't be showing how to use this, but you can use a small Allen key. If you don't have one of those, a hammer and a nail, and if you still don't have one of those, then you're out of luck and you gotta figure it out for yourself. But yeah, so that's how we're gonna take off the fusion cannon, but I'm not gonna get to that first. So let's just get right into this. Take that off. Now these bits here are basically just held on by these little clip hinges, so you can just pop them right off, just like that. These bits right here are held on by a friction peg, and you can only pull it off that way, like only pull it off that way. Because once I do it, the little notches are sculpted so that it can be pulled off that way and put on that way. You don't want to do it the other way, otherwise you could shear off those little friction pegs. So just take that off, and then to store these, you can just attach them to the wings just like that, and just put them off to the side. It's less stuff you have to worry about losing. So I would recommend doing that. Just get those off to the side. This is also removable. It's just very, very hard to remove it, so I'm not gonna. Plus, I kind of like how it looks. It also allows for you to plug in the flames still to the top of the shoulders, which is nice. So, the arm. The arm. This is where you're gonna need the screwdriver. So, now a lot of people will say, why are you taking off the fusion cannon? The fusion cannon is accurate to the movie. Yeah, he had a fusion cannon, but it wasn't this big. And you can still attach it on with the pin taken out, so I will show that off in a second, but you just want to rotate the arm around and remove those two screws right there. So I'm just gonna do that very quickly. There's one screw. Now the arm is just gonna fall right off as soon as you do this, so you want to be very careful. There it goes. So yeah, you don't need this bit, so you can just leave that attached on. I mean, if you wanted to leave it like that, it's fine, but it won't transform very well. So, now, the trick is, first you want to fold up the fusion cannon, just to make things easier for you. You want to unfold it out. Now you gotta remove, focus. I'm shooting this in 4K, well I'm trying to shoot this in 4K, so hopefully it works. You want to remove that little pin right there. So you got to punch in from this side. Now, unfortunately, mine, for some reason, well, I've already taken this off, so this works. But mine, for some reason, my pin was chopped. Don't know why. That wasn't from the punch. I noticed that before I started working on it, that my pin's been cut slightly at the top. So I know this isn't a case with all of them, because I've seen a couple other Leader Class Megatrons in hand, and they don't have their pins cut. Mine just is. So yeah, now if you have an automatic center punch that's adjustable, you're going to want to turn this a couple times just to make this a lot looser, because you don't want to break this. Just want to stick it in there and just push. There you go. See, it's popping the pin out very slowly. So it's popped the pin out ever so slightly and knocked it out of the little slot there, and you can take something else and just try your hardest to push it out. This is very hard for me to do the first time, so I'm just going to cut to the pin being out. And I lied. There is another tool you're going to need for this, and that's needle nose pliers. So I got the pin popped out a little bit more. Now, if you're experiencing any difficulty with trying to get this thing out of here, that is because it is what's called a pin disc hinge. And what it is it's a hinge, and it's a pin that has a disc on the top. Very self-explanatory. And the reason why it has a disc is so that it doesn't pop out. It makes it harder for you to take this out. And I'll explain why. I'll explain more once we get this thing out. So you just want to take your needle nose pliers, grab this. Do not use your fingernails. You will rip your fingernails off your fingers. So you just want to take it and wrestle it loose. There we go. There's the pin. There's the arm and the fusion cannon. Just go off to the side. Now, what I meant by pin disc hinge here is, see this end? This is where it got chopped. I don't understand how that works, but this is normally serrated. This is the disc. So when a pin goes into a plastic, it goes in this smooth side in, and there's a serrated edge on the other side, and that serrated edge holds it in place. So when you have serrated edge on one side and a disc on the other, that means it slides in this way and then doesn't come out unless you really try. So that's why you got to be careful when trying to take out a pin that looks like this, because they're very hard to do that with. So yeah, take this and put it somewhere safe. Don't want to lose it. Now let's reattach the arm. So let's bring Megatron back in here. Let's get this all lined up. Line up. There we go. That popped off. Just rotate the arm around. Let's get all this situated here. Get a screw in there. And just get your screwdriver and put his arm back on. This one doesn't want to go in its little hole. There we go. So make sure the screws are nice and tight, but don't tighten them too much, otherwise you will crack your plastic. And there, excuse me, and there you have Leader Class Megatron without that freakishly long thing on his arm. Now what can you do with said freakishly long thing on his arm? You can fold it up, just like that. That little tab will still tab in to the arm, and the fusion cannon will hold very nicely, which is really cool. And we'll remove it just for now. You can still transform it as well. You can attach all the wings and stuff, close this up, and just fold that out and just tab it in right here in jet mode to where it goes on the arms usually. So that is how you remove all of this unnecessary kibble off of the robot mode of Leader Megatron. Now you have one compromise you have to live with if you decide to do this. That is the gap in the forearm. I'm fine with it. It's not that big of a deal. I would rather have a gap in the forearm than a massive thing that just keeps weighing my figure down because his hips are loose. So yeah, that's how you take all of the junk off of Leader Class Megatron. I hope this was helpful. If you broke your toy, it's not my fault, so do not complain to me about that. Just want to get that out of the way. And yeah, if I find any more figures that I have that need kibble removing, I will do more of these videos. Because a lot of people seem to watch the last one. So yeah, hope this was helpful. Goodbye.